Hey everyone, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. This one's got a cracked piston. Wonder if any of this would have any contribution, anything to do with that. The main thing here is, if you need a new engine, get a new engine, because there's a number of reasons. It is the best value for money. We have them in stock. We do provide them at competitive prices. We've got videos that can help you DIY diagnose a cracked piston in less than 1 minute. That includes popping the bonnet to when you know 100% it's got a cracked piston within 1 minute. So you might want to subscribe and turn the bell on and not miss that, so this doesn't happen to your engine. This costs hundreds of dollars for someone to do to this engine to work out that, well, it's got no compression on one cylinder, but we don't really know what's wrong with it and we can't help you to fix it. Also, careful who you take your vehicle to. Check out this water pump. Just have a quick look at this water pump job. Whoever's done this, look at the amount of black Celastic RTV silicone all the way around it. What an absolute mess. Lucky we don't need to change that. Brand new genuine engines, they come with a water pump already on there. Brand new, built in Japan quality, not this rebuilt stuff that you just can't trust people to get right every time. So seriously now, why is this cracked a piston? Well, I will say that I believe EGR is, and caked up intakes is a contributor. This one looks particularly clogged around this area. And of course, having the original injectors at 305,000 kilometers is going to be a massive contributor. Fact. For people that are wondering, it is a December 2012 KDJ 150R. That's an LC 150. It is currently a Fred Flintstone job. So first tip, really important to have a new long motor if it happens to you. But even more important, in our community, we have minimal cracked pistons. We concentrate on the proper maintenance and prevention of engine failures. And one of your top tips for that is replacing these things on a regular basis. So you might want to subscribe, turn the bell on and not miss that info. When you replace the engine, there's a number of optional extras. One of them is, see here, you need to put glow plugs in. The engine doesn't come with it. So you can put new ones in or you can put the old ones, because we don't actually see any issues with the glow plugs. But to me, it would make sense if you're going to spend about 10 grand on a brand new engine, then you'd want to put an extra couple $100, $200 or $300, what it is, and put those brand new genuine glow plugs into it. So it would be what you call a no-brainer. Here's some info for you. You can start making a list. You're going to want a lot of all new gaskets rather than reuse them. Exhaust manifold gasket, turbo gasket kit, the flat gasket that goes here, the thermostat seal gasket around there. The turbo gasket kit will cover that and that. You might want to put new engine mounts, that's optional extra. You're going to want a new inlet manifold gasket and all the EGR gaskets, a new map filter. You're going to want a new oil cooler gasket, that's the one that goes behind here, oil cooler. Some O-rings for the vacuum pumps, the vane pumps and the supply pump there. This engine doesn't come with the sensors, some come with different components. It varies and they do change what they do, so you can't really expect what's going to be included on an engine because it does change sometimes. Looking at the front of the engine, you've got to consider whether you use the existing timing belt idler tensioner or whether you just go and put new ones on. Depends if you replaced it recently or not, whether you want to reuse that gear or not. And while it's all off, you might want to do like your BFE job and change all those bearings in the main drive belt. Put fresh stuff on, start fresh, put a new heart in the beast. I think it's well and truly worthwhile. Better than buying a new car and much cheaper. For example, this one, in only October 2023 at 293k, it had a new timing belt. That's a genuine sticker, so that tells us it's got a genuine belt. We don't know if the idler and the tensioner would change at the same time, so we need to find out this information if we can from the customer. Otherwise, for the sake of it, just put all new stuff on. But if we know all three were replaced, subject to the cleanliness and condition inside there, we'll just reuse those because they've only done approximately 12,000 kilometers. Like I said, the vehicle's on 305,000 Ks. It's going to have a new heart in the beast and the job's going to be done right the first time, 100%. No problems, no comebacks. Of course, you're going to have a new oil filter. You're going to use a genuine oil filter because it's a genuine engine and you can get genuine oil filters from places that we've told you about, cheaper than these. So don't use aftermarket stuff when you can just use genuine cheaper. If you've had a cracked piston, there's going to be a lot of cleaning needs to be done because of the crack in the piston, the oil in the intake. It's going to get into the EGR cooler here. This needs to be fully disassembled and cleaned out so you don't risk having blockages, which is going to cause a P0400. And like always with cleaning manifolds, you could put this back onto the engine the way it was. You could give it a little clean or you could give it a big clean. So, you know, you've got to decide how clean you want your manifold because there's lots of variables. Obviously, just clean it out would be the go. The engine's clean. This engine's ports are going to be all blocked up a little bit, just like this manifold is. Clean this manifold up like new. And then when it mates up with these brand new clean ports in this head, quality made in Japan, it's all going to work beautifully in peak condition. Look after it since new, a new engine, by following my procedures, and the thing will last forever. So we highly recommend against the use of remanufactured injectors, rebuilt injectors, other brand injectors, counterfeit copies and all that sort of thing. You only want brand new, genuine injectors, and the new engine comes with injectors. There's still a number of other components you need. You can see on this engine, it looks like the alternator's been replaced recently. Alternators on these vehicles are very good, but eventually there's a chance it could fail and let you down. It needs to be replaced. Now, turbos can last many, many hundreds of thousands of Ks. We've got another vehicle in the workshop over there on the original turbo at well over 400,000 Ks, and there's plenty others like that, but it could fail. And I think, given the fact that it's 305,000 Ks, not too bad maintenance. Looking in here, it's a bit dirty and black, but you know, it's just had a cracked piston. There's a bit of mess going on from these people diagnosing, the children diagnosing the engine. But my point is, new engine, if you can afford it, I sort of say it's probably a good idea to throw a turbo at it as well, because based on averages, it will be worn. It could have hundreds of thousands of Ks left in it, but you're getting free labour, and it just sort of makes sense to me as one of the more expensive and hard to get to wear and tear items to throw a new turbo at it while you're putting a new engine if you can, just like putting a new radiator. Replacing the radiator will be a good idea. Put a new heart in the beast, okay? It's going to start adding up. It's going to add up quickly. You're getting your injector job done, your BFE job, your engine job done, your turbo job done. You're getting so many things done if you just go for all options, full cleanliness. You've got a new heart in the beast. It doesn't mean you haven't got other wear and tear items on the vehicle that have been missed over the years, like, you know, your front wheel bearings, your rear wheel bearings, some bushes here or there. Your suspension might need replacing. You might be due for a set of tyres or brakes. Just because you're doing this doesn't mean you haven't got that anymore. But this takes care of the heart and everything related to it under the bonnet. So it's kind of a no-brainer to invest approximately 20 grand with labour and all these sort of extras, ballpark numbers, a lot of variables still, different engines, different part numbers, different prices, that sort of thing. That's nice, putting some caps on the coin rail as soon as the fuel pipes come off, that's good. Although, technically they were left open a little bit, but I think that's still pretty clean in there, nicely done. If you're going to decide to DIY replace your engine, don't forget this little plug to unplug that and plug it back in when you're finished, okay, because people do forget that. Just keep an eye on that one at the back there, little tip, just like this one here. So just remember there's two at the back that you could sort of, you know, there's more plugs than that, I'm just saying there's two that could be a little bit hidden down around there, and you might start lifting the engine out before you've unplugged them if you haven't done it before. Whatever you do, don't forget to put this bolt back in nice and tight, very important. Now if you see this video, don't get excited because we can't replace everybody's engine. We're not here to try and sell you engines. I'm here as a solution to your problems, but I would like to be the solution that prevents the problems. So subscribe, turn the bell on. Time to start catching up on all this information and get the maintenance done before this happens to you. Optional extras. So inside behind these pulleys, there is bearings. It's part of our BFE kit. If you don't know what a BFE kit is, we've got a whole playlist on that. Injector information playlist, engine information playlists. We've got playlists there on our YouTube channel. Check those out and you'll just get yourself really informed and educated so you know what maintenance to do. I still believe these vehicles and engines are one of the best ever built and worth keeping. And it's something that you can actually work on and maintain yourself, where years ago you probably thought that wasn't the case, but for all the people that have watched the videos and learnt, they've worked out actually these things are pretty straightforward after you watch all the videos. Now the newer stuff, that's just not going to be the same story. So each to their own what you want to do and whether you want to do your own maintenance or not. But as you've seen in the videos, careful who you take your vehicle to. Replacing the engine, the first stage is obviously getting it out, and you can strip a lot of components off it before you remove it out. e.g. you could take the EGR cooler off, you could take the manifold off, you could take a lot of stuff off, you could take the timing belt off, you could take off all these brackets up here, making it a bit lighter and easier to maneuver. You could take these pulleys off, you could take the alternator off, you could take the tensioner off, you could even take the turbo off, but I probably wouldn't go that far as to do that. Optional what you want to take out, but once you get it out, that's the first part of the job. There's enough work involved in that. Then what you've got here is removing all these components from this engine to make that engine look like this engine, stripped bare like this. So there's a bit of time doing that. And then there's cleaning the components. Now, a lot of the components, they're not going to look shiny, new, clean, well, like what this is, because there's no point spending hours or days polishing every component to make it look new on the outside. But they're going to be new and clean on the inside where it matters. And of course, clean enough. It's just what it is. You can't have everything new. But time cleaning all these components, and then they've all got to get reinstalled onto this engine without forgetting one nut or bolt or damaging any component in the process. So it takes time, do it slowly, watch the videos, or contact the Prado Hilux Engine Replacement Hospital. All right, here we've got the EGR cooler open up just to show you what I'm talking about. Now, when you do your injector replacement job and your manifold clean, if you choose to do that, which you may not need to do, sometimes you might want to clean the EGR cooler. Our injector kit doesn't actually include, there's a couple of gaskets each side here. You can see that one's still in there. There's a couple of gaskets that you can reuse them, but you can replace them as well. If you purchase an injector kit from me, just say, hey, can I please get those EGR gaskets? I want to open that up and clean those out. And I'm just going to show you quickly some of the areas that can block up. This one doesn't actually look too bad, but see how it's not dry, it's a bit oily looking, so that tells us we know some oil's gone through the EGR cooler in the crack piston process and the engine running. And because the oil's gone in there, that's the glue for the soot, where this would normally be dry. Exhaust gas is going in here and through there. As soon as you add the oil at this point, and that's, I don't want to go into too much detail, but that's the glue in here. If you have a closer look in there, you'll probably notice a bit of dampness, although it's a bit hard to see. I'm not going to put my finger in there. And here you've got your little butterflies, and it's a bit of a bypass thing. Again, I'm not going to go into the detail how that works, but if you can try and look past this butterfly here, what I wanted to show you, this is why you get this is why you get a P0400. The odd one every now and then, people have worked on the vehicle, they forget things, is the biggest cause. But if nothing's been forgotten and everything's right, and you still get the odd P0400, it's most likely a slight blockage in here somewhere, because it's a bit like a radiator, right? And there's a very small, you can see just below that butterfly, see those kind of, it's going to be difficult to really get in there and show you. And now look above, right? And see it's all sort of dusted up and black, and it's trying to get the right angle there, get the right angle of the dangle. It's very difficult to get the right angle and the light in the right spot. Anyway, so let's give it up. It's like a radiator in there, right? And the build up, and it'll reduce the flow. Reducing the flow in there is great, because that means there's less of that dirty soot getting through to your engine. But if you've got a plate with a 7mm hole, the combination of the two could be the problem, which means you've got to increase the size of the hole to balance out with that, or you've got to remove this and clean all that out. And that means you've got to fill this up with, I just use the Kenco, undiluted, water-based degreaser. Fill it in whichever end you like, block it with your hands with your gloves on, shake it around a lot, and then tip it out. Pressure wash in each end, whatever you're going to do, DIY style, until you know it's 100% clean and clear. It's got to be 100% clear, because the 7mm plate here, the 7mm hole, well, that's based on this being clean and clear from only having dry exhaust gases, which means it doesn't build up. So on a crack piston, that's why 100% you've got to spend the time to wash this out. So to do it right the first time, it can be time consuming. If you've done your injector job and you've got a P0400 and you know 100% everything's right, you've checked everything, you've followed all the videos on what can cause a P0400, then, and you don't really want to remove this because you've just done your injectors, you don't want to remove the pipes, risk of contamination and take it all back off again, plus all that work you've got to do. It's a bit of a pain. That's where you might just slip the plate back out and increase the hole size. And we've found 9mm with a slightly blocked, it could be slightly blocked, because what happens here is this end's connected to the intake. This is where the oil is in the intake system. And you can see what happens when you've got oil in the intake system, right? So further up on other components we've removed is where this connects to that. Dirty, wet, clagged up section, it connects here. So you could look in here and find a slight blockage, right? And there you can just often stick a screwdriver and clean that out. So do that when you do your injector job and vacuum it all out. And as long as it's clean and clear like that, it's probably okay, but you don't know because you can't see down into here. So point is, crack piston, 100% wash it out. If it's an injector job of P0400 for any other reason, you might have slight blockages in here. I recommend pulling the EGR valve off, clean this out, vac it out, and then you might need to increase the hole size. But don't just jump to replace increasing the hole size straight away because it might not be the issue at all. You've got to make sure everything else is right 100% first. If you haven't noticed, I could yak and give you information all day long. I've already done that in other videos, so check out the playlist, subscribe, turn the bell on. We're doing an engine. There'll be more videos and more info coming your way. Catch you on the next one. See ya.